well. Well, let's hear from someone else close to some of those third and fourth tier businesses in the supply chain that Steve was mentioning, because Chris Barlow is an audit partner and head of manufacturing at MHA, an accountancy, tax and business advisory firm. He's also based in Birmingham as well. Chris, morning. Thanks for being with us on the programme.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Just same question, I guess, I put to Steve at the start. I mean, what was your reaction over the weekend to this?
It's a step in the right direction and absolutely necessary at this point. But I share some of those concerns that Steve has just mentioned. We need the detail, obviously, but it's how that money is going to get through the supply chain, because quite simply, once you're coming down below second, third, fourth tier suppliers, JLR don't know who those people are. If you put money in at the top of the usual money system, it works its way down. Businesses can fax their invoices, they can pay their suppliers, etc., etc. But these businesses lower down the supply chain, how are they going to actually receive that money? That's my concern at this point.
And just what again, stop me if I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I'm just trying to understand that bit of it, which I don't quite, if I'm being completely honest. Would JLR be paying a supplier for nothing? They would be paying them what they would normally pay them, but they aren't expecting to get anything for that. And would that then be the same case going down the supply chain?
I think that's where we need the detail. Again, as Steve was suggesting a moment ago, paying for goods I don't think works, so it possibly points to something like that, but we need the detail on that. But I do wonder whether there's something different that needs to be done.
Like
looking back at what happened during the pandemic, where individual businesses themselves were able to get a cash injection.
Right, so they would come forward themselves and go to the government and say, here we go, here's our proof that we supply X in this supply chain, support us directly.
Absolutely. Now, again, the problem is time is of the essence, and all that takes time, but that's my real concern, getting that money down to the third and fourth and fifth suppliers within that chain.
I suppose that also becomes more morally complicated for the government, right? But it's starting to sort of support tons and tons of private businesses.
Absolutely, yes. But these businesses are struggling. They've been laying people off. They've had people on short time. This is the impact of JLR across the West Midlands supply chain in Birmingham, where I'm based, is huge.
Yeah. Have you seen impacts of that, evidence of that hugeness already?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, JLR's impact is considerable, from the individual people who supply nuts and bolts and screws into the business, through to just the sandwich shop round the corner. It's absolutely huge.
And when you're talking about your kind of companies, presumably by some distance, it's not as easy as saying, oh, well, we're going to sell to someone else, right? That JLR is by such a long distance the biggest kind of feeder in that pond that there's nowhere actually, there's not many other options for them but to try and hang on.
That's absolutely right.
Just, again, similar question as we put to Steve. I mean, you touched on it a little bit there. How urgent is it now?
Oh, vital.
As in, it's a case of this money needs to be kind of getting to these companies this week. Well,
absolutely. I mean, we're at month end. They've got wages to pay. They've got other bills to pay. It's absolutely vital this money is getting through the system. I've been talking to businesses. They've obviously had conversations with their banks. The banks are being as supportive as they can, but this is a really difficult situation.
Chris, thanks so much for your time this morning as well. Chris Barlow, their audit partner and head of manufacturing at MHA, accountancy, tax, business advisory firm, based, as he was mentioning, in Birmingham there.